Okay, chapter 2.4, the complex number system. How do you perform operations with complex numbers? So we have the imaginary number I. The imaginary number I equals root -1. So the square root of negative 1 equals I. That also means that I squared equals -1. And that's important to note because we'll be using that quite a bit. This also means that we will frequently be using the property of radicals. That means that the square root of a times b equals the square root of a times, square root of a times b equals the square root of a times the square root of b. And again, that's something that we'll use quite a bit moving forward. Real numbers multiplied by I, that means that it's part of the complex number system. Complex numbers have two parts, the real number and imaginary numbers. They are not like terms. Then for any real numbers a and b, a complex number in standard form is defined as a plus bi. So let's look at some operations very quickly. Again, we can't combine the like terms, so in a situation like this, we have the quantity 3 plus 6i minus the quantity 4 plus 2i. In other words, a complex number 3 plus 6i minus a complex number 4 plus 2i. We'll go 3 plus 6i. We'll distribute this negative into -4, -2i. 3 minus 4 is -1. 6 minus 2i. 6i minus 2i is plus 4i. Come over here, we have the product of two complex numbers. 3 plus 6i times 4 plus 2i. We're going to multiply this much like we would if we had like two factors that we're multiplying together with a variable x. We'll kind of treat it sort of the same way. We'll go 3 times 4 is 12. 6i times 4 is 24i. 3 times 2i is 6i. And then 6i times 2i is going to give us 12i squared. So 24i plus 6i is going to be 30i. And then since we said I squared equals -1, this would then be plus 12 times -1. This gives us 12 plus 30i minus 12. 12 minus 12 is 0, so this just leaves us with 30i as our solution. All right, let's take a look at these 5. We'll just go through them very quickly here. We have, again, we're going to add our like terms. So 9 plus 1 is 10. And then 2i minus 7i is going to be -5i. All right, now we are going to take 6 minus 11i times 6 minus 11i. Multiply all this together, 36 minus 66i minus 66i, and then add 121i squared. 36 minus 132i, and then 121 times I squared again. I squared equals -1, so this is going to be -121. 36 minus 121 is going to give me -85 minus 132i. Look at number 3. Again, we're going to multiply the two complex numbers. 3 times 3 is 6, and then this is going to be plus 14i minus 12i, and then 7 times 4, -28i squared. 6 plus 2i, combining my like terms, and then this is going to be plus 28, again because I squared equals -1. -1 times -28, positive 28. 6 plus 28 is 34 plus 2i. Coming down here, a couple different ways. I mean, you could look at this and just go, okay, we have the square root of negative 4 and minus the square root of negative 4. Those cancel out, leaving us with negative 4. If you wanted to, though, you could take it to the next level and say, okay, the square root of negative 4, right, equals the square root of 4 times negative 1. That would equal negative 4 times square root of negative 1. That equals 2i. So we could do that. We could say this is 2i, and then this is minus 4, and then this is minus 2i. And again, these would cancel out, and again, our answer would be negative 4. Oops. As it was down here. Last one here, we have square root of negative 4. 1 times 16 times negative 1, square root of 4, negative 1, 16, negative 1. It's going to give me 2i times 4i. That gives me 8i squared. I squared equals negative 1. This will give me negative 8.